Today we're going to be looking at another Z180 computer kit. This one is a little unusual in that it comes with its own case. So let's open the box and see what we get. Let's create a little bit of room on our desk. And this particular computer comes from Stephen Cousins. And as always, he does provide a really good colour illustrated manifest of what's in the kit, listing all the parts and makes it very easy to check to make sure that you have everything before you start construction. Let's get the padding out of the way. This is a case which your circuit board fits into. It's already screwed in here. We'll obviously take this out when it comes to assembly, but it gives you a good idea of how neatly it fits into the case. And here's the top of the case. And if we mount the two together, this gives you a very good idea of how large the case is going to be. A very compact Z180 computer. And it also comes with the ends of the case. Let's just take them out of the wrapping just to have a first look. And there we are. That's one. And two. So we'll put them back in here for the moment. So this particular unit is not recommended for those with very little experience of building electronics. And even experienced builders need to read the documentation regarding the assembly. In this video, I'm not going to be doing the actual assembly. I'll be leaving that to a later video. What we'll be covering here is the contents of the box and the details of what this little computer can actually do. On the Small Computer Central website, there's a very good assembly guide. This gives you links to the part list where you can check off all the items on the manifest. And this is what your board will look like when completed. As you can see, the board is very compact, having a Z180 package in the centre here, along with a ROM and RAM, and LED lights and a reset button. Additionally, it also comes with a daughter board, plugs into the main board, and allows you to have access to a micro SD card, supplying you with the amount of storage that would be quite exceptional in the 1980s, and is more than enough to run this system. The ROM chip is 512 kilobytes, and the RAM chip also 512 kilobytes. So in total, you have access to 1 megabyte. Although this is not a great deal in modern terms, it's more than adequate for this particular processor. On the left-hand side of the board, we have two serial ports. Let's call them port A and port B. So further down the assembly instructions, you'll see details about forming up your components. It has very useful details regarding the setting up of the LEDs to ensure that they fit into the case properly, and a step-by-step approach to assembly. First doing the low-profile components, as we usually do, the resistors and capacitors, our IC sockets, and the socket for the CPU itself. All in all, this is an excellent assembly guide, not only guiding you in the actual assembly, but also on the tests you can do to make sure everything is okay before you finally power the unit up with everything in place, by the technique of a number of quick tests, for which all you need is a multimeter. And finally, down here we have the micro SD adapter, which is a daughter board that plugs into the main board. This is set up to appear flat on the motherboard to allow it to fit into the case, although there are some minor modifications you need to make to the case to make this all fit in. And then fitting the final components, for example the LEDs, and some more quick tests. Communication to the board is done via an FTDI style serial cable. The cable and the adapter is supplied. So the completed computer does not connect directly to a monitor or keyboard, but there's only so much you can fit into a small case. Connecting this via the FTDI cable allows you to use your own computer to control this system. There is a user guide page on the website, which gives you links to the assembly guide and the main user guide. The user guide gives you details of the jumpers, the power requirements, and the serial ports. As I said, this little FDI style serial adapter is supplied with the kit, so it saves you having to buy any extra components. And the default serial port settings are detailed in this guide. As we mentioned, this particular case has an SPI port, primarily for the connection of a micro SD card adapter, which is supplied. Although the micro SD card you will have to supply yourself. This guide even supplies details of the memory map, which is very useful for anyone wishing to do machine code or assembly programming. And to cap it all, we have a parts list at the end. On the website are images of all the components that come in the kit. As you can see, the completed kit is very compact. And as you can see, you have two choices for the colour of the circuit board, and a number of choices for the front and back panels. And there is the completed kit fitted inside the case, with the micro SD card adapter in place. Supplying the case does give you the option of a very portable computer. You can simply pop this in your pocket and go. If we have another look at the box and its components, everything comes well packaged, including the chips themselves and their anti-static packaging and the IC sockets. Here we have the remainder of the components, the LEDs, the resistors, capacitors and so on, and our USB cable, and the FTDI adapter board. And a ribbon cable to allow you to connect this to your computer. So all in all, this appears to be an excellent packaged Z180 computer system, which I'm going to look forward to the assembly, which we will cover in the next video. However, that's it for today. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching today's video. Please feel free to click on the link in the description below to discover more videos.